All right, and it looks like we are live. Hello, everybody. This is My Two Cents. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a while now since I started streaming Pokemon Radical Red, which is a ROM hack of Pokemon Fire Red for Game Boy Advance, in which they have hacked the game, added all the new Pokemon, and made it insanely harder. I know there's a lot going on in America right now. Hope everyone is staying away from all the chaos and protests that have been scheduled nationwide. So, good time to just hang out, talk about whatever is on y'all's minds, and of course play some Pokemon Radical Red. So if anybody else shows up to this stream, great, as far as the usual guests I have from my Patreon Subscribe Scar crew. Otherwise, if it's just me, then so be it. We'll play Pokemon Radical Red, but I am keeping an eye on the chat box if anyone has anything they want to talk about. I apologize, I am at my wit's end. I've tried everything I can to try to get the audio of this game to stream through StreamYard, and it doesn't seem that there is an extension in order to get Visual Boy Advance streamed through. Anti-Rack, hello, has joined us in the chat. Hey, you're not wearing shorts. What's wrong with you? You are challenged by Youngster Calvin. Youngster Calvin sent out Zigzagoon. Jonathan O says, media be like Trump KKK racism. I just want to play Pokemon for God's sake. That is exactly how I feel, Jonathan, so let's do that. Zigzagoon fainted, and Charmeleon goes to level 17. Lost, 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 says Youngster Calvin. Indeed you did, Youngster Calvin. Did we battle this lady yet? Guess we did not. Last Sally and her Panseer, for which we'll send in our Wingull. Hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday so far. I know in my case I got off to a good start, slept in later than I do on weekdays, but got a workout in, did some chores around my place. I've been real busy lately with the upcoming collapse of the US dollar. I've been trying carefully working around my assets, trying to get them into precious metals and the right cryptos and property and everything to maximize my earnings once the dollar finally collapses. Jonathan O says, complex questions. What makes morals objective? Well, to answer that question, if morals are objective, then they have to be grounded in the object and not the subject. They have to do with the actions themselves and not the people experiencing them. In order for morals to be objective, they would have to be grounded in something transcendental, as Plato so aptly stated. I would agree with the moral argument that's made by theists that if morals are objective, they must be grounded in God. Now, that's a far longer discussion than I want to have in this kind of stream, but if you're interested, I'd go ahead and look into the moral argument for God. Shadow Warden 99 said Zigzagoon looks different from Sapphire. You are correct. That's because that Zigzagoon was a Galarian variant from the 8th generation. Invisible Hand says good afternoon. Good afternoon. Those of you who may be living, it may be the afternoon for some, maybe afternoon for some of you. I know it is still morning on the West Coast at least. JC Armitage asks, how much did I miss? Not too much, JC. We just got this stream started. We've only been going for about 5 minutes. Jonathan O says, appreciate it. I've been asking myself this for a while. Can morals be objective without God? Again, that is far deeper of a philosophical conversation than's probably appropriate for this stream. I would say, morals, when it comes to whether something is moral or immoral, It implies that there are ways things are supposed to be, even though it's possible for them to be another way. If you have an obligation to something, there has to be a reasonable means of enforcing that obligation. And if there is no sentient being responsible for enforcing objective morals, then any talk of objective morality would be basically pointless if there's no means to actually enforce it. But again, I'd say that's a longer conversation than we can have here. I know I can already hear the atheists screaming at me with their counter arguments. It's a discussion I've had many times before. I'm prepared to engage in that discussion. I just don't feel that's a discussion probably appropriate for a Pokemon Hangout stream. But in the short, that's my view. I mean, granted, if you want to keep talking about it, go ahead. Keep posting your follow-on questions, but Anti-Rack says it is 6 p.m. in the UK, so yeah, it's probably evening there. I take it Anti-Rack is in the UK then, or knows somebody who is. Our Oddish grows to level 15 and wants to learn Sleep Powder. Yeah, let's go ahead and teach it Sleep Powder. Oddish, what do you have? Stun Spore, Poison Powder, Acid. We'll ditch Stun Spore for Sleep Powder. Oddish learned Sleep Powder. Wingull to level 14. Our Pokemon team isn't anywhere near where I want it as far as our final team, but we'll see what other new Pokemon we're going to encounter. Litigious Society says, do you agree with virtue ethics, the view that Esso and Filthy hold? To be honest, I have not had a detailed conversation with them about that. I know if we're talking about virtue ethics as originated by Plato's virtue ethics, or Aristotle. Actually, I don't remember if it's Plato or Aristotle who made virtue ethics famous, but I know it was one of them. Where Aristotle, now that I think about it, is where he talks about the golden mean of virtue, that certain actions are more or less virtuous based on context and things like that. I'd have to listen to their argument. Now, I should point out that as a libertarian, I do distinguish between morals and ethics. I think you can logically deduce ethical behavior based on logical consistency, deontologically, although I don't think that in and of itself demonstrates whether or not something is moral or immoral. JC Armitage says, I know you can't use items during trainer battles, but can you use them in wild Pokemon battles? I don't know. We'll have to try. Ooh, a Flaffy. Do we have any ground types? We do not have a ground type. That's something we gotta fix. In the meantime, we'll send in Oddish. Jonathan O says, leftists are always talking about it is immoral for someone to have more money than they know what to do with when there are millions of people around the world starving. And I would agree. I would say if the leftist is the one making that argument, they have to, the burden of proof is on them to demonstrate how it is immoral. How is there anything inherently wrong with one person having more money than someone else? And further, if we take that to its logical conclusion, wouldn't follow that having even one more dollar than somebody else would be immoral. How do they objectively demonstrate that once you have a certain amount of money, you've exceeded some fundamental aspect of the way the world is supposed to be? And whose job is it to enforce that? You see, the problem with leftists is they'll say it's immoral because the government says it's immoral. The problem is if the government is your standard for morality, then whenever government changes its mind, as it often does, something that was once immoral, it no longer is. If the Nazis had won World War II and they said it was moral to exterminate Jews and Gypsies worldwide, and morality is grounded in might makes right, effectively in government, then of course that would mean that it is. But everyone intuitively knows that can't be the case. Hence, if there is an objective right or wrong that pertains to human behavior in general, not just human behavior between one another, as deontological ethics of libertarians would argue, like, for example, is it moral or immoral to drink alcohol? A question, since there's only one subject involved there would have to be something beyond the individual itself, grounded in the object of that distinguishes that that action is immoral. And if it is in fact immoral, it would have to be in principle enforceable, which would mean there would have to be some kind of personal authority behind that. Hence, again, I know I'm just summarizing again. I've had this discussion many times. I can already hear the atheists screeching about ready to give their counter arguments. But that's in summary what my view is. We're almost making it to Mount Moon. And it looks like we got our first Dynamax battle here coming up too. But of course, there's a nice little Pokemon Center right outside of Mount Moon where we can hang out. JC Armitage says, well, that looks new. It certainly is. Let's go find out. This strange den exuberates powerful energy. Would you like to look inside of it? Why, yes, I would. Let's do our first Dynamax battle. So that we can battle a Minccino. Anti-Rack said, if it were possible to elect virtuous and good people into office, like in every office, do you think that would change anything? Well, I'd say if it were possible, of course it would, but the whole point is it's not possible. I think if you could have an absolute dictatorship in which the dictator was perfectly good and virtuous and all-knowing, then certainly it would be good, but it's not possible, that's the point. So we'll go ahead and Dynamax our Charmeleon here. The graphics aren't quite as good as Generation 8, obviously, but... Ah, the Quilava went to sleep, darn it. Well, that did not do much, did it? Alright, let's try Max Flare. Come on, Quilava. With the strong sunlight, it should make everything stronger. There we go. And Charmeleon is no longer Dynamaxed. But we did it. We beat the Dynamax Minccino, getting us to level 19. Jonathan O says, which region is that? Well, this is the Kanto region, but it is a ROM hack, which means we have all the Pokemon from every region. Okay, guy gotta get some more Pokeballs. And we caught ourselves a Minccino. See, we now have 8 people watching. Hello to all those who have joined us. Hope you're having a great weekend. Staying safe from all the madness that's taking place in the streets. Shadow Warden 99 says I've never heard of Dynamax. It is from Pokemon Generation 8. If you head over to my gaming channel, you can see all the streams I did of Pokemon Sword and Shield version. Let's go get some more Pokemon battles. Anti-Rack says how the government still have the monopoly on arbitration, still have the same incentives, and any action it would take would invalidate all the goodness these people claim, since to do anything government needs to use force against peaceful people. Oh, I think you're referring to my statement about if you had a perfectly morally good person. Well, indeed, if you had a perfectly morally good person ruling government who did in fact know what's better for people than they did, that's what my whole point was. Yes, it would, but it's impossible because there is no such person. Well, see, if in theory you had a perfectly morally good ruler, then they would only use force if it was morally justified in doing so, and if it really did make things better for everyone from an objective standpoint. But of course, that wouldn't happen. So, which is why there is no such person. And JC Armitage, yes, speaking of Gen 8, there was a Nickit, or however that's spelled. Indeed, there was. Alright, let's see what's waiting for us in Mount Moon. TM9 Bullet Seed. You know what? I bet that we can teach that to our Oddish, I bet. Yes. We will replace the crappy move Absorb with Bullet Seed. Suspicious men are in the cave. What about you? I don't know, a bug catcher in a cave? That's pretty suspicious to me. Bidoof wants to learn Headbutt. Yes, I strongly suspect we'll be getting rid of our Bidoof shortly, but we'll teach it Headbutt for now. JC Armitage says, does Radical Red change any of the music or sound effects? Not that I can tell. It's all the same music, from what I can tell. I'd be curious to know among those watching, or if you're watching later, go ahead and comment. Has anybody started playing Radical Red themselves since I started streaming this? I'd like to know what your experience has been. Ooh, an Alolan Geodude, which is a rock and electric type. I'd catch it, but what I want is a ground type. So please tell me there are ground types in this cave. Waiting for my friends to find me here. Says Lass Iris, who's going to fight us with a Milseni. Invisible Hand said I never heard of this till now. Okay, well you can get it, you can download it online. It's this is the third episode I've streamed on this channel so far. Also, I should be sure to shout out everybody, if you go to my2centsvideos.com, I've posted the links to my BitChute channel, my Dailymotion channel, BitTube channel, and Library channel, all of which you should subscribe to me on. We already know that independent commentators are being purged from YouTube. I'm still small enough that they haven't noticed me yet, but it's only a matter of time. We, Team Rocket, are Pokemon gangsters. We strike fear with our strength. Yes, I'm sure you do, Team Rocket. I'm sure you do. He's got a Poochyena. Which Poochyena is decent once it evolves into Mightyena, but for now it should be easy prey for our Charmeleon. And there goes Poochyena. Wingull wants to learn Water Pulse. Yes, let's teach it Water Pulse. Yeah, we can ditch Water Gun for Water Pulse. Ooh, and an Alolan Rattata. We don't yet have a fighting type either. We'll have to get one of those, but probably not till later in the game. And there goes Alolan Rattata. Rookidee goes to level 18. It's moving up in the world. Zubat, perfect prey for our Pikachu. Because this is Pokemon, you gotta have a Pikachu. Ah, confusion. But it still manages to use Electro Ball. Good job, Pikachu. And Thunder Shock. Excellent, Pikachu. You were confused, but 2 hits in a row. And we defeated the Rocket Grunt. And our Rookidee is evolving. Awesome. Congratulations, your Rookidee evolved into Corvisquire, which is also a Generation 8 Pokemon. Ooh, another Rocket Grunt. Which Pokemon should we put out front first? Let's put our Corvisquire out front since it just evolved. We're pulling a big job here. Get lost, kid. No, I do not intend to leave, Mr. Rocket Grunt. Stunky, the poison-type skunk. Jonathan O says, no one should have to pick between food and shelter. Biden 2020. Thoughts? Yeah, Biden can say that no one should have to all he wants. It does not change the inherent reality that those things are scarce. Food and shelter are both scarce commodities. Now, thankfully, when you're living in a capitalist system, so long as there's demand for both those things, producers have a direct incentive to produce more of both, driving prices down and ensuring that more people will have both. If you have a system where the government forcibly redistributes those things based on what it wants, there's no longer any incentive for producers to do so, and you inevitably end up with a lot more people who are doing nothing wanting handouts, which means that even more people will be without food and shelter. So if Biden actually understood how scarcity works, he would be a capitalist, and if he was a capitalist, he wouldn't be a politician. Chaos Jumper says, translation, the state is the only way for people to decide what kind of places they wish to live and have food to eat. Something that is very good, Chaos Jumper, something that is demonstrably false, but indeed what they believe. You know, what's funny, the Democratic Party is the party of old, rich, white people. They claim to be the party of the downtrodden, the poor, and the ethnic minority, but if you look at the Democratic Party, their biggest donors are the giant CEOs and billionaires that they supposedly hate, and they've done absolutely nothing to help poor minorities. In fact, they've made them poorer, and they've made them even less successful. It's the ultimate projection game. I mean, not that the Republican Party is any better, but still. I'd say the Republican narrative is at least better than the Democratic narrative, even though they're both status. Republicans, of course, claiming we're the party of small government and free markets. No, you are not. Every Republican who says that always votes for larger government when given the opportunity. They can go screw off. A Rockruff. I believe that is a rock and ground type. We'll see if we can catch this guy. Oddish's defense fell. Oddish uses Bullet Seed. Oh, and we're probably going to faint it before we can even get it. Alright, very well. Back to the Pokemon Center. Ooh, a Matchup, a fighting type. Let's get us one of them. JC Armitage says, you know what they say, Republicans campaign like libertarians and operate like Democrats. Could not have said it better myself. Jonathan O says, what is your favorite Pokemon? His favorite is Gyarados. Mine probably is going to have to be Charizard. Ever since the original Pokemon game, Charmander being my first starter, Charizard has always been my favorite. Like, my dream team is like Charizard, Salamence, Gyarados, Nidoking, Aggron. Those are all my favorite Pokemon. And we got us a Matchup. A fighting type is now on our team. Excellent. Before I started streaming this one, I thought to myself, do I want to give them all cool, like, ANCAP names, or do I just want to forego the nicknames? And then I decided I'll just forego the nicknames. Jonathan O says, so you're into cooler looking Pokemon. Yeah, I probably am. I'm into both strong Pokemon who are also cool looking. I'm partial to dragon types. But I also like ground types and steel types. Let's get that Matchup on our team. So we are finally going to ditch our worthless Bidoof and get a fighting type. Now we just need a ground type. Favorite legendary? Ooh, that is tough. I mean, Arceus, because it's basically God, but although Arceus looks dumb, but it is the god of the Pokemon world. I like Rayquaza a lot. What else? Yeah, I'll probably go with Rayquaza. And supposedly all the legendaries are in this game, so maybe we'll find ourselves a Rayquaza. Jonathan O says, favorite region and why? That is also tough. I'm going to say Johto, just because... probably because Johto... and the Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I'd say, were still the best Pokemon games that have been made up to this point, in that you had 2 regions and the gameplay was great. I'm waiting for them to release a version of Gen 2 that has Mega Evolution. Anti-Rack says, dang, I'm trying to figure out how to explain praxeology to a well-meaning socialist. It is tough. I would say to the well-meaning socialist, I mean, if they're well-meaning and what they really want is just for people to have their needs met, the best way to go about it is show them that under capitalism, more people get their needs met. The reality is, under free markets, poverty goes down. This is well documented worldwide. It's the more government you have, the more poor the people tend to get. And if the government has spent trillions, tens of trillions of dollars combating poverty ever since the Lyndon Johnson's war on poverty began, and the poverty rate, which was going down prior to that, has stagnated. Solo Knight says, my 2 cents, can I join in? Right now, being on my streams is a privilege reserved only for those that support either through Patreon, Subscribestar, or some other method. I know we don't have anyone right now, but that is a patron reward, so it wouldn't be fair to them for me to let anyone in if they're not a patron. Shadow Warden 99 says the Libertarian Party is a joke, and I hate to say it, but it really has been up to this point. There are some within the Libertarian Party that know what they're doing, but the Libertarian Party, for better or worse, has allowed itself to be branded as the party of pot-smoking hippies, which, if you look at Libertarian Party rallies, tends to be the case, and it's pretty embarrassing for people who actually take Libertarian politics seriously. Chaos Jumper says, you can simply have your needs met, what it means to have people's needs. You can ask people what it means to have their needs met. How do people generally get their needs met, and what does this have to do with products being made? That's a good way to lead into it, using good questions for the point I was making, so excellent, Chaos Jumper. Solo Knight says, you've been on Subscribestar for about 2 months. Okay. I did not know that. Okay, I will have to check. Subscribestar is horrible about notifying me when new people are on there. So yes, you can join in. Hang on. Solo Knight, are you in my Twitter group? Invisible Hand says there are too many clowns in the Libertarian Party for them to win any major election in the near future. That is correct. Or Solo Knight, if you go ahead and message me on either Discord or Twitter, and I will get you in here then. Thoughts on Rand Paul? Rand Paul is definitely more base than other politicians. I mean, Ron Paul especially, Rand Paul definitely know the libertarian ideology well. As for Solo Knight's comments, I would like to point out then, if anybody supports me on Subscribestar, please message me when you do that, because unfortunately Subscribestar is horrible about notifications. Got another bald-headed guy up here. I'm excavating fossils under Mont Moon. Sometimes Brock, of the leader of Pewter Jim, gives me a hand.
Hey, look. Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hello, Solomon Knight.
Sweet. First time being in stream in a while, so yeah, I just figured I might as well join in.
Okay, awesome. Glad to have you here. Again, I apologize for not knowing you were on subscriber on Subscribestar. Like I said, unfortunately, unlike Patreon, which messages me anytime I get a new Subscribestar, people can subscribe, and if I don't, check the list there, I won't know. So, thank you.
No, it's just that I know I understand. In fact, only reason I went through Subscribe Stars solely because I'm kind of tired of Patreon,
Oh,
so
and
might as well support alt tech.
I admit, I am tired of Patreon as well. Unfortunately, the majority of my patrons have not been willing to migrate over there. So,
So unfortunate.
indeed, we'll see what happens when the ultimate alt tech purge comes. I'm already, and I'll say, well, I've already said it, but every time I have an opportunity, I will say this. If you're watching this right now, if you're watching it later, my2centsvideos.com, I recently posted an article that has the links to my BitChute page, my library page, my BitTube page, and my Dailymotion page. If and when, I shouldn't say if, when my channel is finally deleted, all my content is still on BitChute and library, and as I have time, I'm trying to migrate it all to the other platforms as well.
Yeah, we're about to suffer a digital holocaust.
Absolutely. But,
Wait, am I allowed to say that?
I don't know. Probably not. But
Yeah.
hey, it's already happened to some mainstream creators. Dave Cullen of Computing Forever, I know, is one of the ones that's recently been purged.
Yeah, no, I mean, they gave him back his stuff, but at the same time, since he's been moving everything around, he's not too concerned about it.
No, exactly. And that's so long as you were already on alt tech beforehand, we don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
When it
Yeah.
yeah.
You were saying?
When it comes to my channel presence, I'm not worried. All the hardcore fans are already on BitChute and library. I mean, do I have fans that are not there? Yes. Especially, I would say, ever since I started doing more men's rights, anti-feminism content, I've developed another set group of followers who aren't as big into alt tech. But I encourage all of them to get into it as well.
You'd think that demographic will also be on alt tech due to
Yes,
just how much trying to muzzle everybody.
absolutely. I found YouTube hasn't necessarily gotten to that community yet. It's more so the political commentary than like the relationship
But I do know
anti-feminism.
there's a certain acronym that they like to use that YouTube does not like. I'm not gonna say it because I don't know if it'll flag the stream.
Okay. You're not
So
referring to MGTOW, are you?
okay, you said it, not me.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I didn't pronounce it, but yes.
So yeah, because let's face it, that's actually something they truly fear because it'll just be people say, "All right, I had enough. I'm gonna go do something else."
Indeed.
And once that happens, the entire system goes bye bye.
Yeah, funny thing is, it's only when in the stage of late authoritarianism that feminism can even prosper as much as it does. And the moment their power structures collapse, they will be begging for patriarchy.
I mean, you already see a soft one where they're begging for the money of the patriarchy with OnlyFans.
No, they are at least doing that.
Oh, by the way, they overdid OnlyFans, and now they are struggling to get new people onto there,
Oh
like
yeah.
new Patreons to OnlyFans, for lack of better terms.
Mm-hmm.
So, OnlyFans is about to go belly up.
What a shame. What a shame.
Ex-
Anti-Rack says, if I take 1 hour to cook a batch of cookies and the Cookie Monster has 15 ovens working 24 hours a day, every day for 5 years, how long does it take the Cookie Monster to make 6 million batches of cookies? Is this
oh,
school or something? Because I don't feel like doing math right now.
um, it's yeah, I know what it is, but they're trying to get us flagged. They're trying to get you flagged.
Ah, I see. I see. Ah, it's one of those questions. I gotcha.
So I initially I thought it was something else until I heard the last part, and it's like, oh, yeah. Hey, what was your thoughts on them just storming the Capitol? I don't
Honestly,
think I got your.
my thoughts on that. I know I talked about it somewhat in last week's stream. Here I do not. I claim I can prove this, and I don't really have the time to do hardcore research. I firmly believe that there were Antifa left-wing protesters that were planted within the Trump supporters. That it was by design that would happen, so that they could subsequently blame Donald Trump and push this whole "let's impeach him 1 week before he's out" thing.
I just see it as more of a. Even if there was Antifa supporters in there, there are some people who weren't. Like that guy with the buffalo horns. Yeah, he was definitely cute. But at the same time, it just pretty much shows the fact that if, for lack of a better term, okay, let's say populist right actually wanted to riot, they took the Capitol by complete accident.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I would agree with a lot of Six X and Hammer's commentary too. I do not like the hardcore Trump supporters by any stretch of the imagination, but when you constantly tell people they're crazy, they're evil, they're immoral, and they're like racist, white supremacists, all this crap, it's not a surprise that they eventually start to get violent. People who get marginalized like that eventually do get violent. So the media, not to say it's acceptable to use
It's
violence,
understandable.
but it's understandable that when they're treated like that over and over again, eventually they do get violent. JC Armitage says found the Fed. Did you mean abolish the Fed? I hope you mean abolish the Fed.
Oh, he said he found a federal agent here.
Ah, okay. Outside of
I'm
creating memes, the Capitol storming didn't really accomplish anything, did it? Well,
not
actually, it did accomplish one thing, and that's it made everybody. It gave the mainstream media
ammunition.
and the political establishment more reason to hate Donald Trump. Now, I've said before, I am not a Donald Trump fan by any stretch of the imagination. However, Donald Trump is outside the mainstream political establishment, which is why they hate him so much. It doesn't really have anything to do with his policies.
Yeah, that's the kind of like what I try to explain to people because they say man, I'm Trump's, but I'm like, no, just um, just outside the establishment, and that's why people like him.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, a roly-coly, fire-type, rock-type.
That's Are there any?
This is
I
from
don't.
Generation 8.
Okay, I have
Pokemon Sword
not
and Shield.
played 8. Then again, I haven't played anything since the Kalos region.
That's Gen 6.
Okay, yeah, that was like the last one I played. I was like in high school at the time.
Okay. I am proud
So
to say I have played every Pokemon game since 1998. Oh, crap, I can't change my water type. Alright, very well.
I
Corvus
wish I
Flare.
could say the same. I just got it was just that after that one, I kind of just got caught up in everything, and I just was like, all right, this is like on the last priority list.
Mm-hmm.
But
JC Armitage says he meant that the Capitol storming did not accomplish anything for the cause of liberty, and I would say, yeah, it did
oh
not.
yeah,
It certainly didn't help Donald Trump. It's not going to help Donald Trump keep office. The only people it helped was solidify the mainstream media narrative that America is full of dangerous Trump supporters, and we need stronger, more powerful government to stop them.
well, it did do one positive thing. I say this as a complete joke. It
Okay.
showed us how easy it is to get into the Capitol.
Yeah, fair enough.
Think about it, they did all that without being armed or anything, so on complete accident.
Indeed. Well, the chief of the Capitol Police stepped down.
Makes
But
sense.
they're the
Then again,
they're the
everybody
fall
there
man.
needs to step down.
Anti-Rack says that's better than me because I once played emulated Gen 2 Pokemon game. Yeah, well, Gen 2 was a great gen.
It was. I miss my Cyndaquil.
Indeed.
Well, I guess Typhlosion. He carried my team.
He's probably the best starter in the Gen 2 games.
I don't know, and it's like because I personally don't know anybody who chose the other two starters. So
Chikorita is garbage in that game. Grass types do not do well in Johto. I mean, not that Meganium is a bad Pokemon, just you don't need grass types in Gen 2.
yeah.
And then I've played it with Feraligatr. I've played it with Typhlosion. I'd say Typhlosion probably is better, although there are circumstances where Feraligatr really dominates as well.
Just gives Typhlosion his Thunder Punch, and you got a winning combination right there.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like with same, I do always give Charizard Thunder Punch too. Just like give it something that it can defeat its weaknesses with, and it's invincible.
Yeah. Wait, can Typhlosion do whatchamacallit? Solar Beam?
Yes. And
Oh,
Sunny Day. It is in no, I think I'm not sure if it was in Gen 2, but in Gen 4 when they remade Heart Gold and Soul Silver, yes. I remember I had Typhlosion. My final like move set was Flamethrower, Sunny Day, Solar Beam, and Earthquake. No, it was the fighting type move. I forget what it's called. But yeah, Sunny Day, Solar Beam combination made it invincible against water types.
pretty much. Wait, let's see. I'm looking at Bulbapedia right now, seeing which ones can learn, see if it can learn it. And yeah, Typhlosion can learn it.
Okay, even in Gen 2?
Yeah.
Okay,
Doesn't say for Gen. Give me a second. It's just a lot of scrolling because there's a lot of Pokemon now,
there are.
and also
Almost they're fast approaching 1,000.
starting Gen 4,
Okay, yeah, Gen 4. I knew you could do it in Gen 4.
but not in Gen 8 for some reason. Well, is Typhlosion in Gen 8?
Uh, I don't know if I don't know if they were in the Gen 8 games or not. I know that now that they're doing the expansions, I think he probably is. Initially, I don't think you could find Typhlosion in Sword and Shield. I haven't gotten the expansions though. I just haven't had the time for gaming.
Yeah, I understand. That's mainly why I haven't done too much for Pokemon. I mean, I have a Switch, but I rarely buy any games from it. Like the last game I bought was Jedi Fallen Order, and that was over a year ago.
Okay,
So, I mean, it's a pretty decent game.
Jonathan. Okay, I haven't played a lot of Star Wars games.
Depending on the game, it could be fun or it could just be well, because it's Star Wars, it can pretty much do any genre. Dogfighting, just Jedi stuff. Like Fallen Orders, you're just pretty much doing Jedi business and tell everybody else to go back to work.
Okay, Jonathan O is trying to figure out the fighting type attack I taught my Typhlosion. He says Focus Punch, Brick Break, Close Combat. I believe the name was Focus Blast. It's a TM you buy at the Goldenrod store. There's only like 5 PP, but it's super powerful.
Ew. Yeah. So, although I should state that the last Pokemon game I played was I think Crystal, and that was on an emulator.
Okay.
So yeah, even then, when it comes to Pokemon, it's just been a while since like I was in high school last time. I had like legitimate time to just sit down and play an RPG. I don't get to play as many RPGs as I want to anymore.
Yeah, who does? But I'm not ashamed. As much as I love Pokemon, I know I'm doing much more productive things with my time, like advancing in my career, working on my business, making videos for my YouTube channel, all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like mostly what I'm doing too. So, well, it'll be nice to play Pokemon every now and again. But hey, if it's not a priority, I'll get to it later.
Hence, exactly. Which is why, for playing Pokemon now, I'll suffice to play it on here while chatting with y'all guys, and so we can at least have some fun, play some games, and talk about some semi-important stuff in the meantime.
JC Armitage thought that Jedi Fallen Order was amazing.
Okay.
Do you mind if I say what happened in the very last boss fight?
Oh, go right ahead.
All right, people. Spoilers ahead. I mean, it was like what 2 years ago it came out, but either way, the final boss is Vader. Do you fight Vader? No. In fact, there's no health bar or anything. You just see the back door open up, and you pretty much implies for you to just run. If you don't run, Vader will snap your neck.
All right. So, Jedi Fallen Order. What time is it canonically? What time period in Star Wars does it take place? Is it like
5 years after the Empire started, because you're playing as a survivor of Order 66.
okay? So you're a surviving Jedi. So it's between episodes 3 and 4.
Yeah, you were actually a Padawan. Well, you were a Padawan during 66. 5 years later, you find a way to actually restart the Jedi Order.
Mm-hmm.
And well, you run into Vader at the very end of the game.
Very well. You know, ever since I do like I love the Mandalorian and a lot of the new stuff they're doing with Star Wars, but they've had to significantly change. You know, the original storyline is the only survivors of Order 66 were Yoda and Obi-Wan, but of course that doesn't do much for additional storytelling. So now in the Mandalorian, we learn that Ahsoka Tano or whatever Anakin's Padawan, she survives, and during that like Rebels series, there are other Jedi running around. So Order 66 wasn't nearly as effective as they thought it was.
Well, I was just gonna say in the expanded universe that Disney got rid of, there's even more Jedi running around because apparently when Luke restarted the Jedi Order, there were several survivors from Order 66 who joined his new order.
Luke's Jedi Order.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was in the old expanded universe, so not canon by Disney standards.
There has got to be a ground type Pokemon somewhere in here. For goodness sakes, I need a ground type. Let's go.
Now, okay, I can't say anything because this is a fan made game, so
Yeah,
I mean there might
I mean,
be.
who knows if there really are? I'm just because it's fan made. I figured there's got to be at least one in here.
Well, there's a
But
fighting, and you have a flying type, so
I have a flying type. I have a fighting type. Shadow Warden 99 says Knights of the Old Republic is a great story.
not. Yeah, those games were they have some really good animations. And also one of them, I can't remember what was the guy's name, but there was a guy so badass. He killed like 10 Sith Lords, took on Sith Lightning, and then he boned the Jedi Grandmaster.
Hmm.
Yes, he's not force sensitive. So yeah, the Legends continuity, there are all sorts of just fantastical tales. Just like how? Because like I said, the guy just ran into the Sith Lightning and he took out a thermal detonator, expecting to take both of them out.
Yeah. Wow.
Also, also just to give you a hint how badass he was, you know how metachlorians go through from family line, right?
Yes, and they say the Jedi get stronger over time.
Yeah, apparently he's so badass that the Jedi Grandmaster, who he got pregnant, the kid didn't even have the Force. The kid just inherited the dad's stuff.
Interesting.
So it's like the Force decided not to give him anything because, like, yeah, the galaxy needs to stand a chance.
Very well. I want to know. So, like, after watching this season of The Mandalorian, they talk about how there was, in fact, a Mandalorian who was also a Jedi, from which we get the black-bladed dark saber lightsaber. If he was both a Mandalorian and a Jedi, he must have been pretty BA.
I mean, well, he did unite all of Mandalore under his rule, so
Yes. Jonathan O says thoughts on socialism. To that, I'm just going to say look at my economics videos, go to the playlist, and you'll hear all my thoughts.
if socialism was an idea, I would not an idea, a person, I would probably drag him out to the back and put a bullet in the back of the brain
Hmm.
in Minecraft.
I was going to say a little violent. I don't have ill will towards socialists. They're just wrong.
Well, I said if socialism itself was a person.
Ah, very well.
So I think, I mean, especially you would do the same with communism, wouldn't you?
Oh, of course. If it was.
If it was an actual person, just take it out and bah, be done with it. So yeah, how long are you going to offer the stream?
Probably at least another 8 minutes. I'd go for at least an hour. We'll see as far as where we are at an hour's time.
All right. What was the goal of this? What was the goal of this fan make again?
The goal was to take the original Pokemon Fire Red, add all the Pokemon through Generation 8, and make the game insanely difficult.
Ooh. Oh. Oh.
Alright, what should we lose for Seismic Toss? I guess we'll ditch Leer for now.
Yeah.
Jonathan O says favorite Mega Evolution, without a doubt, Mega Charizard X. Mega Charizard X is the most BA looking Pokemon. It's why it's in the channel banner of my channel.
Okay, according to Shadow Warden 99, Solo, the Revan bloodline didn't consistently create force sensitives. Well, I guess I mean, look at the last guy. This kid wasn't a force sensitive, and he was with somebody of the Revan bloodline. What's else for Shadow Warden?
Wingull was able to hold on with 1 HP and KO that Rockruff. Good on you, Wingull.
Oh, sweet! You got the drought. You got the ground type. If you don't kill it,
I know that I'm in a Pokemon battle, so I can't catch that.
oh,
We already saw one Rockruff, but I didn't manage to catch it. I, I came all the way down here to show off to the girls. Good for you, buddy. Where are they?
yeah, he's in a Pokemon world, so the girls are decidedly underage, probably.
Yeah, probably, but all like most of the characters are underage.
Yeah. It's still just amazing how Pokemon's able to hold on this long.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So,
You ever notice stuff out of Japan tends to last a really long time? Like Pokemon, Power Rangers, they've both been running for 30 years.
let's see. One Piece is going on for 20 years, and the end is technically near. I don't know exactly how far away One Piece is from ending. So yeah, long runs. Then again, Japan has a long life expectancy. So, well, the Japanese have a long life expectancy. So
Oh, Tim Pole. This is a ground. It's a ground and a water type. Okay, we gotta get this one. Let's see. Gotta be
wait,
careful what we attack it with.
did you just? Oh, okay, I see.
Tim Pole. It's both a water and a ground type.
Okay, that was a what Gen 7 or Gen 8?
I think it was Gen. It was either Gen 6 or maybe it was Gen 8. It was introduced. I thought it was. Didn't think it was new. The first time I personally used it was Gen 8.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Oh, yeah. Speaking of Pokemon, I have a question.
Yes.
Since in the Detective Pikachu movie, it uses the same Mewtwo from the first Pokemon movie. I
Yes.
just have a question. Did that mean Ash grew up, or what's going on there with Ash?
Don't know because Ash never ages.
And they never explain what was going on there.
No.
But
But
all
no,
they said is,
I don't think it was in the same universe though. It was in the Pokemon game universe, not the anime universe. In which case, there is no Ash. There's only Red.
well, they said it's the same Mewtwo from the first movie.
Well, yes, it
They
is,
explicitly.
but that Mewtwo is also in Pokemon or the original Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yeah. Multiverse
Yeah, exactly.
is confusing.
So in the Pokemon game universe, there is a Mewtwo, and instead of Ash and Gary, you have Red and Blue. So and Red does grow up because you see him later in later games, and he's older, but Ash doesn't.
Which is weird because, since Ash is based off Red, you already have a design for a grown up Ash, essentially.
Yes.
Just let him age. Move on. You know what I say they should have done with the Pokemon anime?
What?
Probably do something similar to like with JoJo. Just every time we go to a new region, you just follow a new protagonist.
Yeah. Maybe. And we have us a ground type, and it's a water type, so it doubles for us.
That works.
So we'll get rid of our Wingull and use our Timpole as our water ground type. Which means that it's no longer weak to electric, but it's doubly weak to grass.
That's funny. Well, teach it an ice type and cover that,
Of course.
which is just beautiful when you can cover up your weaknesses.
Indeed. Alright, we are coming up on an hour. I think I'm going to keep this. I'm going to try to get through Mount Moon. We will try
All
to,
right.
now that we have a ground type, let's try to power, however long the stream takes, let's try to get through Mount Moon. That's where we'll cut it.
All right. And a Noibat.
Yes.
That's definitely Gen 6. I
It is
remember
Gen
that one
6.
for 6.
It
I
evolves
remember that
into
one specifically.
Noivern, which I would catch that one, but we have Corvisquire, and I like the steel flying type of Corviknight, so I'm going to keep that unless we come across a much better flying type.
It's like my first time pulling a Bulbapedia in like quite a while. I usually pull it up when I'm playing a game that I can just cheat my way through. But now I'm just looking up just make sure my memory is correct. Yeah.
Ooh, a hiker.
Oh, hey, what was just, you know what? You know, it's just kind of just makes me just laugh.
What?
Everybody who's trying to say that Kyle Rittenhouse did something. Kyle Rittenhouse did something wrong.
Oh, of course. All he did was protect himself against an active threat. So there couldn't have been a more justified shooting.
I know, but
He even took the time to warn them.
I mean, he's on the ground while they are jumping him, and one of them actually grabs the gun directly to his chest. That one's that one's just that's a Darwin Award right there. And honestly, I want to say it like this: the Kyle Rittenhouse shooting is just a sign of self. Can you think for yourself? Because all the evidence is out there of what happened, and if you think he did something wrong, you're kind of just doing whatever somebody told you. You're thinking whatever somebody told you to think.
Hmm. Jonathan O asks, "Have you taken the political compass test?" I have never actually taken that test. No.
I have. Questions are extremely biased. It actually put me in the lib right quadrant. Not not too far out of the authoritarian right. Just I mean, there are some issues where I'm like, all right, we got to actually do something about, like, for instance, dealing with communists.
Hmm. Well, honestly, like I'm politically, I am very socially conservative, even though I'm politically a libertarian. There are a lot of things I think a person ought to do with their freedom, even though I don't think they should be forced to do it. So I probably would come out a little more authoritarian, even though I don't believe in the use of force.
Yeah, that comes out. That's actually a lot of the questions that they will just be asking.
Uh huh.
So that would, like, for instance, I do, I don't actually believe in bringing harm to a socialist, but when you start trying to aggress upon others, I say, go ahead, just pray to Saint Kyle Rittenhouse Kenosha for straight shooting,
Ah, there we go. There goes Drillbur.
and you just I don't understand the what was that absorb?
Absorb, yeah. Well, that's Mega Drain.
Okay, Mega
Absorb is
Drain.
much weaker.
I just find that thing kind of just hilarious how your grass type is just quite literally sucking up the life force of that Pokemon.
Well, it's a rock type, and grass is strong against rock.
Yep. So
And with the
man,
bullet seed, there goes Nose Pass.
do it.
Jonathan O says, "My 2 cents is conservative lib right." Okay. And politically, I'm a libertarian. I do not believe in the initiation of force, even if people are doing things I personally disagree with. I say I'm socially conservative in that I do believe if people want to prosper, there are a lot of things they ought to do with their freedom, but I don't think anyone should be forced. They should be forced to live with the consequences of their own decisions. That is a far better teacher than government saying you must do this or we will shoot you.
Ooh. Hey, quick question. What's your thoughts on the state of the UK?
State of the UK. I mean the new lockdowns or much more authoritarian they're becoming, or what in
Yeah. Yeah,
particular?
let's go with the how much authoritarian they're becoming.
I'd say it's kind of like the UK and most of Europe has always been like 20 years ahead of the US in amount of liberal authoritarianism. So I think yeah, it's following a natural progression that they're becoming more and more authoritarian. The same thing is happening in the US. The US has just always been like 15 to 20 years behind them. Whatever Britain does 15 to 20 years later, the US does the same thing. And
It's sad.
that time could be shrinking given how rapidly all governments are becoming more authoritarian. COVID-19 being the catalyst by which they were able to lull people into doing nothing about it.
I know, but there's actually one thing that's top. That's one thing I've been using. One thing that the lockdowns have been. Let me get my thoughts. One
Okay.
thing the lockdowns have taught me was, well, at least allowed me to show people just how the national socialists were able to just get away with what they were doing because people just do it. Like, for instance, just look at the mask mandates. I had to tell that to my god sister, who is just like, okay, just do it no matter what. I had to point out to her, like, look, you say you wouldn't, but you haven't even questioned about why you're putting on a mask or what's the science behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with a mask. Look, I'm not telling you not to break the law. I'm just telling you to actually question the law and see if it's actually good. Any
So
law that's
far, so far, I don't know of any state that has actually passed a law saying you must wear a mask. Sure,
well,
the
mandates.
yeah, the governor have put out these mandates, but constitutionally speaking, governors and presidents do not have the authority to just declare that everyone has to wear a mask. That's something the legislative branch would have to pass.
Yeah, but then you get people like in that governor in Michigan who decides to
Gretchen
just
Whitmer.
yeah. I'm not gonna say what I actually think of her on air anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, who just goes beyond the legislature the entire process. She's been disregarding the legislature since for the past year now.
Even though her
And
husband broke all her own rules for thee, but not for me.
pretty much this is the point where I'm saying, all right, every politician elected right now just needs to step down peacefully or face a Minecraft mob.
Oh, absolutely.
And well, let's put it like this: say what you want about the Capitol, but that pretty much showed what happened when angry people do an accident.
When they're constantly told they're worthless, they're idiots, everything they believe is wrong, they need to just shut up and color. I mean, yeah, eventually they get mad and then tend to become violent.
Yeah. Now take out this grunt from Team Rocket.
Indeed, we shall.
I have no idea
And
how
he's a
that
Alolan Raticate.
in
It's a
Kanto.
Rattata, not Raticate.
Faticate. The Lowland Raticate should have just been named Faticate.
Let's see. We'll get rid of Bubble for Bubble Beam, of course. Shadow Warden 99 says Whitmer's black dress made her look like Sith. I suppose so.
I just say, well, if
And
she wants to be a Sith,
Silicobra, 8th gen.
ooh, that's a cool design.
Yes.
But I was gonna say, if she wants to be a Sith, then it's up to the Jedi to stop her.
Very well, very well.
And
Who would the Jedi in our world be? Modern day ninjas?
um, that's a good question. Who would be the Jedi? I don't know. I guess anybody who would try to be more for liberty, but also be willing to do what needs to be done for liberty.
I say modern day ninjas only because, the Jedi, by his own
Codes.
admission, Lucas based the Jedi very much on, like, the samurai historically. So,
Well, I mean, whether
samurai ninjas are different things, though, so I shouldn't get those two mixed up.
yeah, samurai are closer to knights. I mean, the
Yes.
UK still does not. Well, any place that has a monarchy still technically have knights, but it's not really. You don't have to do much to become a knight anymore.
Nah, Elton John is a knight.
Which, if you saw a knight in the past, they would scoff at it.
Yes.
So yeah, the knights will have to rise up. I don't know. I guess what Knights of Columbus. That's just a Catholic thing. So okay, Shadow Warden says 66 has already been executed, and at least on big tech, it kind of has been.
Guess
Right
it
now, we're
has.
just the survivors because we are too really small to be some of a threat. But
Exactly.
fun fact about Jedi Fallen Order: the main character was passed over because he was considered a threat. Well, not a threat. He was considered not that big of a threat because he was just a Padawan. Guess who came back 5 years later, almost restarting the order?
Yeah, so long with Baby Yoda and all the others that were passed over.
I still find that funny how Grogu's thing was he was nice to Anakin, therefore Vader didn't slaughter him at the temple.
Was that it? I thought
Well, I mean,
somebody
it would be funny if
removed
that
him.
was the case. He only survived the massacre because he was nice to General Skywalker.
Very well. Shows be careful how you treat people. Law number 19 of the 48 Laws of Power. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person.
And the Jedi did not learn that and the Jedi learned that lesson the hard way.
Indeed.
Twice. Think about it. If they would have just learned the lesson the first time, Obi-Wan probably would not have died on the Death Star.
Perhaps.
So there's that with Uh, but I'm not gonna say what happened at the end of the Mandalorian because I don't want to spoil it for
Oh,
anybody.
I've already talked about that on previous streams. If anyone's
Oh,
watching this
okay.
and hasn't seen the end of the Mandalorian, you probably already got my spoilers.
All right. But Shadow Warning is right. We do need a Luke, not a Rey, a Luke.
Exactly. Rey is horrible.
She is. You
She's a
know what's that?
powerful Jedi, but it didn't make any sense. She went from being a nobody in the first film to being the most powerful Jedi ever without any character development or explanation.
I know, but you know what's that? But thank God we have Filoni and Favreau to kind of help ease things through. I mean, you have Luke outright insulting the entire sequel trilogy. And then also there's like this one scene in the Clone Wars. It pretty much just showed what Anakin's truly capable of, where he actually brought the physical manifestation of the light and dark side to their knees.
Hmm.
Literally saying on your knees when he just bent, when he forced them to his will.
All right. We're getting to the near the end of Mount Moon here. Mr. Fossil. Oh, I found these fossils. They're both mine. Oh, yeah? Well,
Yeah,
once I beat you in a Pokemon battle, I'm pretty sure you're going to give me one.
I
You are
remember that.
challenged by Super Nerd Miguel.
Someone needs to give him a swirly.
Indeed, he is a super nerd. With his little, maybe his little robotic Pikachu will protect him.
I just realized they updated the sprites because I remember he was like on the ground looking like he lost his glasses. But yeah, just the sequel trilogy was a train wreck. They're trying to do damage control now between Fallen Order, the Mandalorian.
And the upcoming book of Boba Fett, which I am actually looking forward to.
Yeah, I kind of want to see them just make some kind of joke regarding Robot Chicken with that. Just some joke. I don't know. Have Boba in his underwear or something. Um, but I was also going to say, oh, funny thing. I was actually watching Return of the Jedi the other day, and I just realized something. There were actually some people on Jabba's Cell Barrage who were just actually being paid to do a show, as in they were just random bystanders who were just being paid off by Jabba the Hutt to just play music.
Okay.
And Luke and Leia killed them.
Hmm.
Luke has killed innocent people.
Suppose he has.
Well,
Not as good as he thought he was.
There's also blowing up the Death Star, so there's that.
No, they were all Empire.
I know, but it's still just funny how some desert farmer got
Yeah,
radicalized from a drone strike.
and you know, to be fair, they talk about that in the Mandalorian when whatever Cara Dune or whatever her name is arguing with the Empire. And what? I thought Tempo was a ground type. He shouldn't. Maybe it's not a ground type until it evolves. I don't know. All right, whatever.
Probably. Oh yeah, I remember this one now. It does become a ground type when it evolves. So I don't know. Use Pikachu and just don't use electric attacks,
Exactly.
or use Oddish. Oddish is resistant.
Oddish will do fine.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to use. You're gonna probably gonna have to use Oddish in a little bit, just seeing what happened
Yes.
because they are not kidding when they say that they whatchamacallit was when they cranked up the difficulty.
Yeah, Radical Red is way harder than any of the traditional Pokemon games.
Well, it is called Radical Red.
That it is.
Um, yeah. Shadow Warden or Grogu was taken away by Yaddle out of the temple.
We haven't seen Yaddle since episode 1, though.
Yeah, so who knows what happened to Yaddle?
And we defeated Super Nerd Miguel, Pikachu hanging on the 5 HP.
All right, Pikachu. Wait, are you going to evolve it or keep it as Pikachu?
We'll see. Probably evolve it. I like Pikachu, but Raichu's way stronger.
Oh yeah.
We'll get the
I
Dome
mean,
Fossil because Kabutops is way better than Omastar. Alright, now we gotta run back to the Pokemon Center, heal up, because I have a inking feeling that there's probably a boss at the end of Mount Moon.
probably going to be Gary or Blue or
Yes.
Green,
Either
whatever he's called in this game.
Well, it's not usually your rival in regular in regular Fire Red, but at the end of Pokemon Yellow, you had Jesse and James. So I don't know if it'll be Jesse and James, but it'll be somebody.
I was gonna say from Fire Red. Fire Red was the last time I played Gen 1, and that when you come out of the Mount Moon, you fight your rival because it's like one of those just dick encounters where they know that you are kind of on your last leg, and they just show up. Don't you hate those encounters?
Oh, of course.
So yeah, I'm still shocked that I'm. You know, it's actually funny.
But
I had stuff taken down from Instagram because I just do a bunch of memes.
oh,
Like all, it's like every time I get on there, it turns out a new Kyle Rittenhouse meme got taken down. Because let's face it, those memes are hilarious.
Chaos Seattle left the council to do humanitarian work, says Shadow Warden 99.
Huh. Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Next rival battle is when you head from.
He answering Chaos Jumper.
Okay. All right, JC Armitage. I think the next rival battle is when you head north from Cerulean City, not when you exit Mount Moon.
And JC Armitage is correct. There is no rival battle, but at the end of Pokemon Yellow, there's Jesse and James. So I don't know if they'll show up or if some other one will show up, but
it's still funny when you think about that. Jesse and James exist in the game universe.
That they do.
At least in some timeline for the games.
And they were in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee as well.
Several timelines of the games. Multiverse theory is a pain in the behind.
And every series, if it runs long enough, eventually gets a multiverse going.
Yeah, I mean, when done right, it's actually pretty deep. It can be pretty good when done right. Just like time travel. Like, for instance, Back to the Future. Time travel, simple.
See, Back to the Future was a comedy, though, and the reason time travel works for a movie like Back in the Future is because it's a comedy. I feel like most serious movies that involve time travel end up being stupid.
Yeah, time travel is one of those you just gotta say. You just gotta be able to just roll with comedy with it.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's just not gonna work. Hey, what's the best time travel movie you've seen, or at least time travel media you've watched?
I mean, honestly, I like Back to the Future. It's a hilarious movie, but involving if you're talking about like not a comedy involving time travel,
yeah, like a video game or
DC
TV
Comics.
show.
DC Comics has some decent storylines involving time travel because the Flash, has the power to do it. But
yeah, I was gonna say Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
That was a good game. And Armitage agrees with me. Yeah, Chrono Trigger, but although I should say there's actually Chrono Trigger breaks its own rules with time travel. Because it goes from you can't change the past to you can change the past in the same game.
JC Arms just says great minds think alike.
True. I mean, it's objectively a good game. It's just wondering. I mean, they did get a sequel, and they just started doing with multiple universes, and they had like 60 playable characters, and not much to do with it. But then again, it was Square, so Chrono Trigger 2 or Chrono Cross, whatever it was called, is a sequel in name only.
All right. All right. Let's find out. Is there a boss or is there not?
Probably after you get away from this one. And get away from Super Nerd Miguel.
Yes. Hey,
Ooh.
wait right there. Are you the twerp messing with my grunts? Little kid, you think you're brave, eh? I'll teach you a valuable lesson. So it's not just James, it is...
Just
Archer.
Some rock. Okay.
Rocket Edmund Archer from Gen 2.
Rocket Edmund Archer. Does he have a child named AJ? Also, I'm required to ask: is he an alcoholic?
Probably.
Yeah, okay. The sequel was called Chrono Cross, and yeah, nobody really got a hold of it. Although you know what's actually kind of messed up? People love Chrono Trigger. They actually wanted to do like a 3D remake of the game, but Square Enix said no. Like they like cut down the film project and everything.
That's a shame.
Yeah, and then they did nothing with it. So it's just
Oh,
one
come
like
on, Charmeleon. Don't be paralyzed.
so yeah, I was gonna say, I'm just wondering why did they decide to do a copyright claim on the fan project if you're not even going to try to satisfy the fans' desires? It's like it's a money sink right there. Just
Exactly.
do it. Akira Toriyama will be happy to do more character designs if you just ask him to. Yeah, and like another appeal to it is that Akira Toriyama, Dragon Ball creator, did the character designs for the game. So you have an entire fantasy Dragon Ball Z like cast, and you just time travel.
Ooh, Houndour really took that one down. Let's see what else we have for taking on Houndour.
Ooh, that was brutal.
Match Shop is it's also a dark type, so fighting type attack should be useful.
It should. You just, I mean, isn't fighting resistant to dark?
Fighting is strong against dark.
Oh, I know strong against. I'm just asking, like, is there any resistance? If not,
Sure.
let's see what happens.
It's
And
using all its fire type attacks. There we go. Should have just opened with low sweep. Forgot Seismic Toss is a fighting type attack, but I think the amount of damage it does relate to the level of the Pokemon.
which is kind of ridiculous because if you look at the anime, that move is overpowered in the anime. Then again, most moves are.
Yes. Alright, this actually is going to be a pretty tough battle, I reckon.
I mean, yeah,
Let's
not
see
very
if Oddish
effective,
can
but
poison this thing. If Oddish can use its poison powder and poison this thing, we might have a chance. Ooh.
uh, oh no.
Yeah, we might lose. But then, whatever, this game is meant to be tough.
Unless Pikachu can, channel into his anime counterpart and pull something out of his ass. I guess not. What type is Corvisire?
Flying.
Just flying?
Yep, there we go, we lose. Alright, folks. Well, as I said, this game is meant to be way tougher than anything regular, so we'll go ahead and stop off there. And when we start the next stream, we will go ahead and defeat Rocket Admin Archer. I'm sure we'll figure out eventually. Anyways, thanks everybody for checking out the stream, and as always, that is my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth.